Everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you are about to see here. Today we are going to go over my sinking funds. My cash wallet, or this is kind of a cash envelope wallet. It's made for that. And this is where I have my sinking funds envelopes. And before I get started, let me just say that I literally borrowed from my sinking fund since the last time I updated this video. And I'm not happy about that, but I borrowed from here in not an emergency. It was definitely not an emergency, but it was a matter of convenience and because I wanted to stuff my cash envelopes last week and we didn't have a lot left over from our paycheck. So I decided to use what was in here with the intention of paying this back the following week, which is today. So I've gone to the bank. I have my cash for these envelopes and I have my cash for my weekly cash envelopes. So that's two separate things. We have sinking funds, which are supposed to be a growing savings for different categories. And then cash envelopes for our household are meant to be spent during the week we stuff them. And then we are supposed to be filling them up the following week. So that's the difference in each of the systems. So we're going to get into here. Now what I did was I paid myself back first before I did this video. And like I said, I wouldn't have taken from here if I didn't fully intend on doing that. So let me fix my sleeve. All right, so I'll put the wallet here. And then here is my sinking funds printout that I did. Now this was a simple document that I did in Word or Excel. Now I can't remember because I do use both programs. But this may be in Excel. But anyway, the reason why I did this for my Big Happy Planner is because I wanted to be able to put all 12 months of the year on one sheet. So as you can see, I go clear across from January to December, and I wanted to have the full snapshots available anytime I would work on this or just alter it in any way. So last time we did this update was in February. And as you can see, I started this in January with 7 categories. And I ended up in February with an 8th category that I added for appliances. So I wanted to put a little bit of money aside for this because if we stay in our current house, we are going to be eventually replacing our appliances. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about too was, here are my envelopes. I'm going to zoom out just a bit so you can see everything. These are my sinking fund envelopes, and you can tell because I have very rudimentary wrote SF on all these. And I could have done a better system, but this is how I did it. But I want to let you guys know we did get our income tax refund back from federal and state. And that, coupled with some money that I can pull from our savings, we do have the capability of paying off our entire credit card debt. So I haven't done an update in a while. I'm going to do an update first, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about that. Even though we have the money, I know I'm getting a little bit off track, but it's all relative because it all has to do with our budget. Even though we have the money, I'm really nervous to do it because we have the money on hand. And of course, income tax refund only comes once a year. But I'm afraid to spend it, even though I'm spending it toward a good cause, which is paying down our last credit card. But yeah, it's an overwhelming feeling. So if you guys have ever been on a credit card debt payoff journey or any type of debt payoff journey, you know that it can become quite emotional during any of the process. But even though you might think it's just strictly relief at the end, it's still kind of emotionally taxing because you're putting the last of whatever money you have, and maybe that's not the case. For us, it's the case. It would be our entire refund. So anyway, that video is coming. So what we have here is the funds with all the cash in them. So I did pay myself back in all their entirety. So here, for instance, Christmas, 25 in January, 25 in February, I have $50 in that envelope, so on and so forth. So let me get real close again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add at least $20 to all of these funds, if not more. But I think 20 I'm pretty comfortable with right now because we don't have a lot to spare. I do want to update this every single month. And after we pay off our credit card debt, hopefully I can concentrate on enhancing these as much as possible. So first, let's start off with the dogs. So in January, I did 20, in February, I did 20, and I'm going to stick with that in March. So far, so good. We've been pretty lucky with the dogs. We haven't had any real emergencies or anything like that lately. So I'm going to stick with this $20 bill and put that in here. So right now we have 20, 40, and 60. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that, because that's a nice little chunk of change. That would at least pay for something, you know. When you're at the vet, you get, well, at least we do. We have 3 dogs. We get nickel and dimed. For vacation, just to keep this going, I'm also going to add $20. Now, we don't have any vacation plans, but we are starting to talk about things as a family, going to on a trip to where my brother lives. And so we do that every single year as a family, and last year we didn't do it just because of our situation. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know what my situation is. So now we have $60 in vacation funding. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go back into health. For the past 2 months, I put $10 a month, but I am also going to up this to an additional 20. So here's my health envelope, and I replaced the 10 and 10 with a 20 because, like I said, I had borrowed from this, and I'm going to add 20 more. So I think that is a good plan. So here's that. And for car, now when I say car, I'm talking about my husband's. He is still under contract with his lease, but next time when his lease is up, we may consider purchasing a car for him instead of leasing again. He puts way more miles on his car than I do. So we had 20 in January, 30 in February, and I'm going to add another 20 to this. Am I? No. I'm going to add 50. I think that's the better plan. All right, so that'll give us a nice even $100 toward his car fund. Now, he may end up leasing again, I don't know, but even so, recently I had to get a new car, and I leased again, and even though we don't put any money down per se, we still have to put money down. And so that includes your first month's payment, tax, and title, which can be very expensive. I know some car brands, you know, it's like sign and drive. You don't have to put anything down, but what we go with, we do. So work clothing. So I had $35 in here. Okay, and I'm gonna add another 20. So I'm going to put $20 down for that. And I haven't gone shopping. Oh, so just to give you guys an update, my February no spend went great. And I keep saying this in my videos, but I still have not stepped foot. I don't think you can tell that to 20. I still have not stepped foot in a craft store since 2020 began. I cannot even believe it. Guys, I was living in Michael's, Joann's, and Hobby Lobby on rotation, and I was constantly buying new planner accessories and just things for my overall hobbies and things like that. I love to craft, whether it's paper crafting or sewing. You know, I think the only thing I don't really get into too much is like artwork, because I'm just not good at it. So it's never really piqued my interest or anything like that. But oh, that was a mistake. Black Friday. But yeah, I still have not been in a craft store. I cannot believe it. So for Black Friday, I'm going to add $40 because I added 10 in January and 10 in February. So I'm going to add $40 to that. And so I have a 20 in here that I had replaced. So that's $60 toward Black Friday. That's not too bad. I know some of you have been asking if I'm going to restock these in my Etsy, and I totally apologize. I 100% am going to. I just haven't had my printer set up since I was purging in my craft room. I just need to print them out. So yes, absolutely, they are definitely coming, and what I'm going to do is just do like a little, probably like a 1-minute video to announce when they are back in stock. It's going to be very soon. I do apologize for that because I hate when people say they're going to do something like I said and then I'm dragging my feet on it. So I do apologize for that. So for Christmas, 25 in February, 25 in January, $50. I had to replace this too, so I put a $50 bill in here. But what was I saying? Oh my gosh, I got totally off track. See, I try to cram so much information into these videos. Well, you have to talk about something, right? I mean, I am stuffing envelopes, so I need to fill this with some conversation. So I have $90 now on Christmas, and that is not too shabby. So that's Christmas. And then lastly, we have appliances, and since I still don't know where we're landing on this as far as what our plan is, I'm going to put $20 in here. And so I have 30 from before that I replaced, and I'm going to put another 20 in here. So that is my appliance fund. All right, so let's bring this down. Let's see what we did here. In February, I added an additional 165, so 120. I'm just going to write down here because I don't have my calculator in front of me again. All right, so I ended up with 285 if you add January and February together. And so today, I am adding 20, 40, 60. Let's do that. 80. 90, 120, 160, 180, and that would bring it to 230. I think. I hope. Oh my gosh. How sad is that I can't add that in my head? See, 20, 40, 60, and 50 is 110. And then 20 and 40 is 60, so that's 170. And then 40, 60 more. 230, yeah, okay. See, I second guessed myself for no reason. Now, I can print this out again because I just saved this on my computer. So if this bothers you down here, the scribbling, you're not alone. It bothers me too. So I'm not real thrilled with that. But what I can do, and what I'm sure I will do, is reprint this and write it more neatly. So we have 230. Now what I'm going to do is leave that there in parentheses, just like I did the first couple of months. And the reason for that is I'm not sure if I will use the second half to add again to these funds during March. And this time I might do that. So depending on what my plans are for paying off our credit card debt, which again, I cannot even believe we're facing that. I can't believe that day is coming. I will have more cash to devote to savings, which is my ultimate goal. I don't want to keep paying for things that I don't want to keep paying for debt. I want to move forward. And I feel like when you're paying for debt, you're still kind of working in the past because they're past purchases. But I can say this. We have had a lot of credit card debt, and we had a home renovation loan that was converted to a credit card. And that is possible too. So in case anybody's wondering, can you convert a loan to a credit card? Not all the time, and not every credit card, but we did have one that we could, and that accepted that. So usually if you're doing a balance transfer, it's usually credit card to credit card, but it does exist where some of them will take an actual loan account and be able to transfer it. But anyways, I'm getting off track again. But one of those was a huge home renovation, and it was adding air conditioning to our home, which we did not have. And we did not have air conditioning because we did not have ductwork. And it was so expensive to get ductwork actually cut into our house. To have a contractor cut ductwork into a house that doesn't have it is very intensive and expensive. So what we did was we had the ductwork project finished, and then we bought 2 air conditioners. We thought that would be a good feature for us just to save money on. and also a good selling feature down the road, because we have one air conditioner that controls the upstairs of our home and one that controls the downstairs. So it's in zones, and they're two full-size air conditioners, but we don't always have to cool the upstairs if we want to cool the downstairs, and vice versa. So that has really offered us some savings, because mostly in the summertime we just want to cool the upstairs because we're sleeping and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that, you know, future buyers of this home will appreciate that. But anyways, so that was very expensive, and that was also configured into all of our debt since 2018. So I just wanted to explain that, and I'll get more into detail on that in my upcoming video. But this is where my sinking funds, oh goodness, this is where my sinking fund stands as of today, and I'm really happy with the progress. It's not a lot of progress, but being that we are in the midst of still paying down a lot of debt, I'm just happy with any progress, I have to be honest. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you did so. That way I know that I'm doing some videos that viewers are interested in. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. Take care.